The ground held the city like a knife holds a reflection. Everything else had already fallen: ports, batteries, outer districts, until the only way out was the Spineway, a rib of bridge work stapled to the cliff. If the Spineway went, the evac trains died on the switchbacks, and the ships above left with empty seats and guilty fuel. I'm Roan Dray, line sergeant, 3rd Ramp Company, male, 37. I've been under fire long enough to know courage is mostly stubbornness that learned to walk. The enemy was Soryx, low, plated, four-armed, optics like welding arcs. They fought with quiet algebra: subtract sensors, subtract shooters, subtract the will, and the rest tidies itself. We'd seen their math work on better armies than ours. Our side had 12 men, an ancient coil gun that coughed more than it spoke, a stack of edge charges, and a funicular fuel-tram nobody wanted to ride. Lieutenant Varick Stone set his boot on the rail and looked like a man explaining weather. "Short volleys," he said. "Make them measure us. When they correct." He didn't finish. He didn't need to. We all knew the last line. Dawn tried to burn, failed, and settled for bleeding along the ridge. The Soryx came in columns hugging the cliff, shields forward, rhythm perfect. The coil gun gave us 7 shots before its barrel spat a wire hair and quit. Their counter found it in 2 breaths. Our turret died. Neat. The kind of neat that makes you hate neatness. "Ranges are dirty," Cade Morin called from the forward barricade. "They're bouncing our heat." "Good," I said, and thumbed the plate on my wrist. All night, I'd wired the Spineway's underbelly with mirror gnats, shards of visor glass, heater tabs from medkits, foil from ration bricks. It looked like trash because that's what it was. The trick lay in the angles. When I hit the switch, the dead air below us woke into a crooked sun. Heat bloomed where no men stood. Reflections lied in practiced ways. A missile slithered after a phantom and ate the cliff. Another stitched a rhythm into the bridge that didn't belong to any drummer born. The Soryx hiccuped. That was the size of our miracle. "Now," Stone said, voice flat as bedrock. We pushed off the parapet like divers into rain. Boots clanged on grating. The air tasted like battery acid and snow. I met the first Soryx at the rack of a maintenance cart, up close where doctrine forgets you exist. Bayonet, under the gorget seam. Twist, retract. Coolant hissed. A shield brushed my shoulder and took a tax in blood. I paid and kept the receipt. They recovered fast and quiet, the only way professionals know. A wedge formed around a shield captain with a scar like a weld down his faceplate. He moved like subtraction with legs. His first hit kissed my ribs through the plate and turned breathing into arithmetic. He expected me to step back so the equation could complete. I stepped in so it couldn't. Close doesn't forgive. We turned like knives in a drawer. His elbow found my ear and rang it. My rifle butt lied to the cartilage under his arm. He fainted low, came high, and charged interest in blood. I gave him a fee of my own, knee against the cart axle, force and angle in an unfriendly handshake, and drove steel up under the chin plate until the chamber clicked home, empty. He went heavy. I kept pressing because quitting is a habit you learn once. 2 minutes. Dispatch breathed in our ears. "Last evac train wants the bridge." The Soryx shifted right. Toward the mid-truss, our charges watched with hunger. Their optics cooled, dialing out our lies. "Rowan, cut the legs," Stone said. I looked at the fuel-tram dozing on its spur. 7 drums of volatiles and a motor that believed in a simpler century. I looked at the mid-truss, where good men had tied bad ideas together with wire and hope. Then I decided I preferred the kind of math you do with fire. "Cade," I shouted. "Catch." He knew before I pointed. He jammed his shoulder against the tram, grunted, and made the motor angry enough to wake. The tram muttered, coughed, and started downhill. I sprinted alongside and wedged my last edge charge into the leading coupler. The tram hit the crooked sun under the bridge. The mirror gnats made it look like a god. The Soryx hesitated because hesitation is what math does when it sees a number it doesn't like. "Down!" I yelled and pushed Cade into the grating. The world turned white and loud. Wave first, heat next, then the slow rain of things that used to have purpose. When sound remembered how to be less than everything, I lifted my face out of the metal and counted my hands. 2. Good. The mid-truss was a question asked in smoke. The Soryx wedge had no answer it liked. We moved because moving is the only prayer I trust. We cleared the twisted grating and made the bridge into a choice the enemy couldn't afford. They tried the left rail. Cade cut it with a saw's worth of bullets. They tried the right. Stone kneeled the service mast with a double tap to the ankles and rode a new trench across their angle. "Last train entering the Spineway," dispatch said, voice tight and human. 40 seconds to you, 90 to Ridge." We paid meters like coins. 1 for 10 seconds, 2 for 20. My hands shook only when I told them to. The Soryx finished blinking and returned to subtraction. "Hold," Stone said. We did, because there was nothing clever left. Shields rattled the parapet. Bayonets found seams and took